Okay, I got a very simple question about Heavy Rain, and this is not a spoiler. It's not. Because only people who know the... It's not a spoiler. Answer me this one question. Why doesn't he go to the police? No time? Bullshit. Plenty of time. Because he's on the run? Yes, he is. So why doesn't he turn himself in? The police. Why did... If he turned himself in, who would have saved his son? The police. Guys, the origami killer told him not to get the police involved. So what? Who's gonna have a better chance of finding the killer? A guy. Now, keep this in mind. A guy who is having psychotic breaks frequently. A guy who oftentimes finds himself standing in the middle of the street in the rain with no memory of where he's been or how he got there. Does he have a better chance of finding his kidnapped son or the cops? Don't give me that shit. The guy literally goes into fugue states. He ain't finding this kid. You win the game because the story's fucking stupid. Obviously, he did fun. Yeah, because the story's fucking stupid. It's stupid. And again, this isn't serious spoilers, because it's... Okay, you're trying to find this kidnapper, alright? And, again, this is not spoilers, nor is the fact that the guy is kind of going crazy and he thinks that he might be the killer. Okay, not a spoiler. They set that up really early on. So, here's the other side of the argument. He kind of goes through this game kind of suspecting that he's the killer. So why doesn't he turn himself in? Here's the reasoning. If he is the killer, if he turns himself in, then the killer has been caught, and the police have a much better chance of finding out where the kid is from the crazy guy in the prison cell. If he's not the killer, you'd still want to have the police in charge of this investigation because the guy is legitimately out of his mind. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how bad that game doesn't make any sense. Tip of the iceberg. Guys, seriously, you're not gonna win this one. The game is indefensibly bad. I could go if you really want to get into a debate. Trust me, I could set up a forum for this thing and just tear you to shreds. I'm way too tired to get into that now. And honestly, I don't remember enough about the story. I'd have to watch like a play again to really go point for point on why it's no good. But if I did, man, the story makes no sense. By the end, there is no reason why he shouldn't have gone to the cops. Plus, I mean, it's just a shitty game, top to bottom. It's just quick time events. Why would you make a game out of that? Fuck that. There's a scene where you change a fucking diaper. You change a fucking diaper. Fuck that. Ah. Ah. Just make a movie. Oh yeah, yeah. You go to the toilet at the beginning of the game. Yeah. Take a shower. Oh, and here's another thing I hate. I hate how so many of the scenes in the game they play out the same whether or not you succeed or fail. It doesn't matter most times whether or not you do things correctly or not. It just keeps going. In fact, sometimes it just kind of it not always, but many times. And another thing that the last thing I'll say about this that really kills it for me, I was playing through that game thinking that there was a lot of replay value to it because I thought that, kind of every time you played through it, there'd be a different killer because they kind of set it up that way when they sold it. There's like, oh, there's these six suspects. Which one is it? So, like, I'm thinking, like, oh, if I play it again, maybe the plot will unfold differently. No. No, there's one killer. It sucks. I did like Ripper better. Yeah, and there was a lot of sci-fi elements that really felt out of place. Yeah, the VR detective with the spooch detecting goggles and shit, and I'm like, like, let me ask you this: like, if you made this, you remember those like those Morgan Freeman movies, like Along Came a Spider and shit like that. Like that's basically what this movie, the game is. You don't need that, you know. You just kind of have this urban thriller where he is running around and he's crazy and shit. And you don't need this guy with the fucking internet goggles. The only scene I liked in that was the again no the finger scene. I like the finger scene just because it's so fucking Looney Tunes. It's hilarious. Like you looked for the most awkward, painful thing in the room, didn't you? You know you did. You were looking for like a shard of glass or something rusty because you're like, there's no way they're gonna do this. Oh my god! But that's just because it was a really fucked up scene. I was laughing my ass off. Safety, were there safety scissors? I don't think so. No way. Exactly, Cygus. You know, if he was tearing that room apart looking for stuff, he'd have found the thing. Meaning the whole scene is pointless. Yeah, I used the bolt cutters. That's what I used because I thought, oh, that'd be really fast. Like if you were gonna do it, you'd want to do it really fast. I think there's like a butcher knife, which shit, you'd never want to do it that way. You'd never want to do it, period. But certainly not with a fucking butcher knife. The dumbest stapler, the dumbest one, and I hated Walking Dead from beginning to end. But the same kind of scene in Walking Dead, that was bullshit. That scene was so stupid. You know what I'm talking about. There were scissors. Okay. No, in Walking Dead, that scene so goddamn dumb. I promise you this. You would never, and The Rock means never, be able to do what that guy did with a hacksaw. You wouldn't even get halfway. It would not happen. You couldn't do it. You could not do it. And it's not because ooh grody. No, you physically could not do it. It would be impossible. You would die. Even if you could stay conscious and you wouldn't, you'd die. Walking Dead was a terrible fucking game. They're all fucking terrible. I know, sacrilege. They're terrible. They're the most miserable, unpleasant, joyless games I've ever played in my life. Is it possible to pull off a good QTE game? No. No, it's not. I mean, the best example you could probably come up with is like Dragon's Lair, and that's not even that good either. Yeah, I just started it. Here comes the bandwagon of people who are like, Walking Dead was awesome. Shut the fuck up, Spoony. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's coming. It's here. I don't care if you like it. I'm sure you do. It's it's not fun. It's just not fun. You finish that game and you just want to die. Is it well told? Yeah. Oh, it's well done for what it is, and what it is one step above putting a shotgun in your mouth. It's so depressing. And you're like, Spoony, that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, good on you. Go fucking play it, because I don't want to. It's so miserable. Not all games have. No, you're right. They don't all have to be fun. You're right. We're not arguing. I agree. Have fun with that. Wait, no, you can't. I'm sorry. Game does not have to be fun. You just saw one. You just saw a game that wasn't any fucking fun. Here's an example. Here's a really good example. Not of a game, but of a movie. Okay? You ever hear of Grave of the Fireflies? I'm sure you have. Grave of the Fireflies is probably one of the best. It's probably one of the best and most moving movies I've ever seen. Moving, you know what I mean. It's probably one of the most emotionally moving films I've ever seen in my life. And I never, ever want to see it again. It's a great movie. It is fantastic. And I wanted to die after seeing it. That's Walking Dead. And not, I mean, I would even go so far as to disagree, but it's a very well written and performed story for what it is. And what it is the most miserable story ever committed to the medium of a video game. So if you want to fuck over your entire week, go ahead. I regret every single second I had of playing that game. Now, I don't know if I'd say the same thing about Grave of the Fireflies, but I almost wish I hadn't seen that movie. That's kind of what I mean, is like, when it comes to the Grave of the Fireflies, it was good enough that I don't really regret having seen it. But Walking Dead came down on the other side. I came down on the other side of that, where I really do regret having watched that game or having played that game. So that's what it's like. Grave of the Fireflies, the video game. It kind of is.